True. Really good friends with the FedEx driver over the last few days. Just to give you a quick update, 2019 F-150 3.5 EcoBoost.
I'm going to interrupt myself for just a minute. I want to talk about the other modifications that I've already done to the truck in 2020, and we'll jump back into where we're going with the rest of the year and into 2021. So, first up is adding a new intercooler and piping it up in front of the radiator, very similarly to the full race intercooler kit. That made clearance to go ahead and install the Rough Country hidden winch mount and a Smittybilt XO2 1,200-pound winch. Next up is the DIY bed rack, and that is a $300-ish bed rack that you can make with parts from Home Depot. It's based off of strut channel. You create brackets that tie into the stake pockets, and then an overall structure that if you have access to a Sawzall or a cutoff wheel, you can make a 100% bolt together bed rack system for around $300. Now I go on to change that slightly, as it was supposed to be for a rooftop tent, but after having another child, we're going to be in a ground tent for the foreseeable future. This is a 2.5-inch leveling kit, and that's just enough clearance to fit some Raptor takeoff wheels and tires for a pretty inexpensive way to get rolling on 35s on an F-150 on the cheap. And lastly, I have the hidden seat storage. This is a super easy, you could barely call it a modification. The latch is there, you're just making it more accessible. But it does free up some nice interior storage, and you can stash extra coolant or tow straps or any number of narrow items behind the seat that you don't need to get to all too frequently. So if you want to know more about any of those modifications, I'll have links to all the individual videos in the description on this one. But now let's get back to me.
I went with 456 gears for the front and rear. Overshoot us for 35s by a little bit, because I'm at 331s right now, and it gets the job done. This has got the 3.5 EcoBoost, so it's not down on power, but you can definitely feel that, 10th gear on the highway, it doesn't really feel like it needs to get in there much. So getting the 456 in there, we're kind of overshooting to the other side of the equation, but hopefully should be just about right for running some 37-inch tires in the future. I went with the TrueTrack on the rear end instead of another air locker or an E-locker or whatever else. I have used one of these before in the Volvo. It's got an 8.8 rear end, and I really like the TrueTrack. They're basically no maintenance, and they work like a limited slip. So knowing that this is going to be primarily driven on the street, it's nice to know that if you do put your foot down, you're going to get the effect of a limited slip diff without running the compressor, actuating the locker in your day-to-day driving. So I'm taking a bit of a compromise. It's not quite at the level of a true locker, but understanding the reality of that this is going to be pounding pavement more than it's going to be off-road. That's what I like to do. Other side of the scale, the front axle, there are less options available, but one of which is the Arb Locker. It says it's approved for the IFS 8.8 front axle. This locker needs air to actuate. Well, with the Arb twin compressor, I've never had anything Arb. It's quite expensive. I really hope its reputation holds up. But don't worry, you also still need to get the air locker manifold kit to then be able to hook this to this to this. A couple inflation things, a aux beam, 8 switch panel, so all of your relays are built in. It just simplifies the wiring. I've used a similar product on a previous vehicle and had pretty good luck. Long term, how it will hold up, I'll let you know.
Look at this. What's this? That's called a flashlight.
And then again, more flashlights, according to my daughter. Some more rock lights, and I'll be integrating some of the front end bumper lights that I have already on the truck into this switch panel.
37s, how do you get them?
The internet. I've been able to find 6-inch lift. Everybody says you need a 6-inch lift. I'm gonna try and do it in 4, and then just cut fenders, because aluminum doesn't rust. It oxidizes, but it doesn't. Got our fender wells open. gut everything in the front ends, and try and get 37s in on 4 to 4.5 inches of lift.
Nice.
And if not, then we'll stack spacers on top and it'll be a 6-inch lift. Because we're going to be pretty well committed after going to 456s. So, you've heard me talk enough. You got the general idea. This is all going to happen over the next few weeks. I'll be doing some unboxings, definitely some installation, and probably some crying or possibly cursing. So if any of this interests you, let me know, and keep an eye out for any new videos. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, whatever, so you know when this is going in, how much of a pain it is, and if I just wasted a ton of money. Thanks for joining me today. See you later.
And that's what caterpillars with this. And what else we have? Oh, squirrels. And what else we got in here? Everything.